Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tiffany Nicole. I'm the owner and founder of Tisdale 23 Catering Company. My website is www.cheftiffanynicole.com. I do all sorts of catering and private events and special occasions, so please hit me up. Also, make sure you tune in to Talk of the Town 918. You will not be disappointed.
Back again at McLean Barbershop out north. Got my guy Ryan Hump, like family to us, real special to us. Guy that mentored me and my brother. And Hump, me and my brother want to apologize to you. Because when we talk about two sport greats, we bring up RW, we bring up Robbie, we bring up Prenderson. We never really bring up your name. And as men, we want to apologize to you because you are a 918 legend, a two-sport guy that could have went professional. You did in basketball. Could have went D1 in football and made it to the next level. And when we talk about greats, two-sport greats, we have to bring up your name. And as a man, we want to apologize to you.
And we want to give you your flowers now.
Because you deserve them.
That, man.
You deserve them. You deserve them.
You know, y'all, I'm humbled to be here. I'm proud of y'all. Y'all family to me.
Yes, sir.
And I'm just here to support y'all, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. So we got Hump here today, a legend, 918 legend. Been at this for a long time. Take the people to where you started at and where you're at now. Like, you went to Booker T, then after Booker T, tell them where you went.
Man, I'm going back before then. I'm a maybe baby.
Yeah.
Maybe,
They say the
all
Bulldogs
day.
is better, though. That's what
Man.
I'm just telling you what people say.
Listen.
Prentice said that, too.
Listen, I started out, played in Owasso, grew up there, and went to play in the Mabee Center, and that just changed my life. It did. I think that's where, when I think about my journey, that's where it started at.
Yeah.
You know, football and basketball. I was fortunate enough to play with the Mabee Center, the Mabee Bulldogs, football, then went to Carver. My first job was at the Mabee Center.
Okay.
You know, and with that, you know, most people, some of the jobs, they work in a 9 to 5. I was able to get in the gym.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel sad by saying this, but it's true. I got paid to play basketball.
Right.
And I spent a lot of time in the gym, and that's where I really honed my craft. After that, I was at Booker T. Booker T, I went to Oklahoma, transferred to Notre Dame, got drafted in the NBA by the Utah Jazz, but traded to Orlando Magic, played with the Magic, then traded to Memphis Grizzlies. And I went and did some summer leagues with different teams, and I went and played overseas. I played in 13 different countries.
Wow.
So, you know, anywhere they've bounced the basketball,
You was there.
I was there. I've seen a lot. Game of basketball has been good to me. Guys been good to me. And so now, you know, I'm coaching now. You know, I got into coaching after I finished playing. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to give back.
Right.
I knew I wanted to come home.
Was it somebody that got you in it? Like, hey, Hump, you going to be a coach one day.
Well, you know, I'll tell you this too. I've had 7 surgeries. You know, everybody see you playing on, but you know what? After you play, your body's like a car. You got a certain amount of thread life.
Right.
Yeah. After a while, you know, people ask me why I walk like this because I got miles on this
We
body.
ain't LeBron.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody don't have those, you know, things in the house. But like I said, I've had 7 surgeries. And so early on, I was more of an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had to start thinking the game because I couldn't jump and run as fast as I used to.
Right. Exactly.
So and then when you're playing overseas, when people ask what it's like, every time you go somewhere, they speaking a foreign language. So you had to start learning and coaching yourself and been able to pick up some stuff. So got into coaching. I tell you what's crazy is I went for some high school jobs around here.
Mm-hmm.
Got told no.
Really?
I got told no. I got
told no.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You know, and you think about it, it was humbling.
Exactly. Right.
Because.
Was it the head jobs or you was going for assistant jobs?
Oh, head jobs.
Wow.
You know, head high school jobs around in this area, in the 918 area. And, you know, they brought me in for interviews, but it wasn't time yet. And so with that being said, I said, what else do I want to do? You know, I was fortunate enough, a guy at Tulsa, Justin Bauman, you know, I was going to see different people practice. was going to see Tulsa, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, OU. I was just going to see practices where I could. Guy out there at Tulsa said, hey, man, why don't you become a volunteer assistant out here? And I was out there every day.
Oh, got you.
Like, if they had a 5 o'clock in the morning practice, I was there at 4:30.
Did you get to travel with them, like to games, or you just practice?
They took me to the NCAA tournament when they was out there in San Diego.
Oh,
It was with Danny Manning and his staff.
Okay.
And so with that being said, my wife made a joke because I would get up. She was like, "Where are you going?" Well, I'm going to work. What? She's like, "You ain't getting paid for this." And so I was at every game, and I learned. I knew the basketball component of it, but I didn't know the administrative side of it.
Right.
And so with that being said, man, I got into coaching, and I was at Northwestern with Chris Collins.
So they called you while you was volunteer, or you reached out to Chris?
So the season finished. Danny had went to Wake Forest. And it came to a situation. I'm sitting at home, networking. I'm telling you, man. I remember it's interesting. I would go to every Final Four, standing in the lobby. Like people see people in certain situations, but they don't know what it took to get there. I got you. Everybody want to hit everybody. We live in a microwavable society. Right. Everybody want to hit the fast. just like let me fast forward and get to the good stuff. Exactly. Now it's a process. It's a process. Facts. You know what I mean? It's a process of it. And man, I was going to Final Fours, talking to people, networking. Oh, they remember me playing, but they didn't want to give me a job. Exactly. And so I was up at Northwestern, and I never forget it. I was still living in Owasso, and I was gonna go be a volunteer assistant or intern with the Maine Red Claws. Oh, okay. That's a G League team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. It's a G League team. No, I'm sorry. It was Delaware. It was Delaware. It's one of the G League teams for the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay. And so I was waiting on Northwestern. Northwestern finally said, hey, we want you to come up here and be our coach of player development. Was up there for a little bit, a couple years. Mike Bray called me and said, come home. So I've been at Notre Dame. This is my 7th year coaching there. Now,
tell us what that phone call was like when your former coach, Mike Bray, called you and said, hey, come home.
Well, I'd always stayed in contact. Like I tell people all the time, the best way to get a job or get something is genuine relationships. Facts. Right. That's we all in sports. Right. It's nothing like somebody calling you asking for tickets and you ain't heard from them in a while. Right? Like we've all been there. Yeah, don't call me asking.
Exactly. You don't even call me to see how I'm doing.
Exactly. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa. Like at least say, hey man, Happy Friday.
Yeah, how the kids doing?
Right.
Yeah.
But I tell people all the time, a lot of times people reach out, first thing they do is ask for something.
Exactly.
And so me and Coach Bray had relationships, and we've talked through my playing career and all the places I've been, and so he knew that I was in coaching. And so he had seen what I was able to do at Northwestern, and I even tipped my wife's hand. I was like, hey, Coach Bray gonna call me. And
you already knew.
Well, because we had started the groundwork. We started to talk. We talked 3 straight days.
I got you.
And you know what? I'm not interviewing, but he's just catching up, and he's just filling me out.
Checking your pulse.
Yes. And I say, he going to call me. Lo and behold, the 4th day, he called me and was like, hey, man, you know what? I'm not interviewing nobody else. Come home. And the rest is history.
Got you. Okay, so we got that far. Let's take it back a little. We're going to go all the way back now.
Yep.
When you was at Booker T, they say, arguably, your high school basketball team at Booker T was the best team that ever come through Oklahoma.
You could see how they could say that.
Who was all on your team?
During that span from my freshman year at Booker T to my senior year, you got 3 first-round draft picks.
Okay. And who was it?
It was R.W. McQuarters, Eton Thomas, and myself. Right. Those are just again, those are the guys that got drafted.
Yeah.
We've had multiple guys. It seemed like everybody on our team went Division I in football or basketball or something.
Right. So what team was better?
We had, Aaron Lockett to play professionally. So
exactly.
It was a course of a 4-year span where we was just sending them out. Like it was guys that went to Oklahoma State, guys that went to OU, Kansas State, Jackson State. The younger guys went to Tulsa, TCU. It was just multiple guys just coming through. And, it's interesting. I travel and recruit all the time. And you hear certain schools across the country, the DeMatha High School in D.C., you hear, the Chino Hills in California, you hear these schools, these factories Well, I tell people all the time,
Booker T.
I'm putting Booker T up.
Yeah.
With anybody.
Yeah. Well, whatever y'all got, we've got that too.
Exactly.
Still to this day.
Yeah, so I'm proud of him. And,
Right.
and you know what? You know, we've had a lot of guys that be successful. And I say people on 10 all the time watching TV, oh, yeah, you see him?
Booker T.
He went to Booker T. So let's not, you know.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you a question then. The 95 or 96 team, which one was better?
Man, they all, I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say. But
It's-
95 is RW. RW,
Yeah,
wasn't there,
RW was a senior. Yeah, so his senior,
Uh-huh.
you know, he led us.
Uh-huh.
He led us. And I tell you what, man, it's I never forget it. It was my sophomore year. People say, hey, you know, they ask me questions all the time. I spent summers when I was growing up. I didn't dream about playing in the NBA.
You didn't.
I did not dream about playing the NBA. I didn't dream about playing the NFL. I'm gonna tell you what I dreamed about. You know, everybody do that Kobe shooting 3, 2, 1.
At Booker T.
I was 3, 2, and 1 on the Booker T. McClain game.
Real.
What, for real?
That's what I always wanted to play.
Why? Because you seen it at the middle school level?
I
Like-
seen it because you know my brother graduated.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
In 1993, so I was the tag along.
Uh-huh.
My older brother went and played football at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And so you know he was a good big brother, and he took me. When you seen him, you seen me.
Just like when we seen you, we seen Chad.
Yeah, you know, you always got to pay for it. So when you see me, every experience that he went through with his 5 football visits, guess what? I was right there.
Got you.
And what it did was it made me start seeing and computing like, you know what? I want this. I want this. When he went to Baylor, I went on a visit with him to Baylor. Like when he's taking his visits, I'm like, yeah, this gonna be me. And so when I was in that young space, I was seeing that Booker T, and it was sold out. I had to get there at the freshman game.
Right.
I was like, oh man, I want to play in this. I'm gonna play in this.
Yeah.
And I never forget. And that's when I, burst on the scene. If you want to say Coach Nate Harris, I love him. He believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Like you talk about different coaches and why I want to coach. I've had some great coaches and great men to pour into me, not just in my family, but coaches. My dad, my Uncle Chuck, like all my family, my brother. I've had a lot of people pour into me, and Coach Harris believed in me and started me as a sophomore. And our first game was right over here
At McLean.
at McLean.
How'd you do?
At McLean. I think I played well. I'm not one of those guys. I've watched y'all shows, and guys can say, hey, against East Central, I had 74 yards. I can't do that. I done had too many concussions. I got too much gray in my beard. I forget stuff. But I feel like I played well. I played well, and that kind of put me on the scene. And that's when I kind of knew, I was like, hey, man, I got a chance.
Okay. So your sophomore, because Chad won me, your sophomore year, you realized, like, I got a chance to do something.
I had a chance locally. It's different levels.
Facts.
It's different levels.
Facts.
Because, again, everybody think, well, okay, I'm the man in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But what you playing against in Oklahoma is different from what you playing against in Texas.
How tall was you your sophomore year?
I was about 6'5".
Okay.
And so with that, I played on different AAU teams. I played, started out with the Jammers when I was 12 and played. And it's amazing. I started, I played with Antioch. I played with the Tulsa Hawks. I think it was my sophomore year, the Oklahoma City Rams.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
the John Marshall team.
Right.
Okay.
They went to nationals, and I went and played with them.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I got to know Joe
Hurd,
Atkins, Tony
okay.
Hurd, Reggie Tate, and those guys. And so I would travel with them. That was my maybe sophomore year. My junior year, I went and played with a team called CMH 76ers, based out of Kansas City.
Got you.
Okay? This could have been, you talk about all-time teams. If you look it up, we were probably top 10 or top 15 AAU teams
Ever?
of all time.
Who was all on that team?
You got to tell us who was on the team.
Yeah.
Okay? On that team was, I'll tell you who you got, a guy named Corleone Young.
Okay.
A guy named Corleone Young came out of high school from Wichita, Kansas, and it was Jerron Rush.
Okay.
Jerron Rush,
Yeah.
he went to UCLA, but he was, Corleone, I was class of 97. Jerron and Corleone, those guys was class of 98. They were both top 5 in the country in that time. Earl Watson was on my team.
Okay.
Corey Maggette
Dang.
Wow.
was on my team.
Wow.
Lou Aldine
Wow.
was on my team.
You was coming off the bench?
No, man. Listen. And so every week I would fly to Kansas City to practice.
Got you.
Okay. It was also guys that went to Oklahoma State. You know, Fredrickson, and so even the younger Rush brothers, the one that went to Missouri. So everybody on our team. And I tell you what, if you look it up, like I was flying to Kansas City that whole summer, I didn't come home. I was just living in Kansas City on the AAU circuit. Yeah. And so I was able to, you know, you asked, when did I know? We went to the Nike camp.
Where was that at?
It was in Indianapolis.
Okay.
And on my team, you guys heard the name Shea Cotton.
Okay.
So me and Shea Cotton was on the same team at Nike.
Okay.
So I already knew Shea Cotton everybody was coming to see him.
Right.
So guess what?
You
The only
bust-
thing I had to do was if everybody come to see him, let me stand out.
Exactly.
Let me stand out. I was fortunate enough, man, I played against Eldon Brand, Ron Artest, and all those guys coming out of that before, you know, the Arkansas, the Oklahomas, the regional places. When I left there, I was an MVP of the McDonald's, MVP of the Nike camp. MVP of the Nike camp. And with that,
That's
it
when
just
you knew, like,
took off. You know, back in the day, it was a show called Hanging with Mr. Cooper. You know, he was there talking. He was like, hey, man, who's 160? Again, I'm about to mess up the number because I don't know the number. Like, who's number 164? And I'm like, me and everybody always, it's like, hey, man, dude, I seen you play. You cold-blooded. And that's how I was like, okay, you know
was
what?
a junior in high school.
I think it was my junior year in high school.
Okay.
And then that's where.
was anybody up there with you? You was by yourself?
Well, it was my AU team. It was the.
Okay.
You
So
know,
the whole team went.
Yeah, because again, we had all the top
got
kids
you.
in the
I got
country.
Yeah.
From there, my stuff just took off.
And what was it like calling home to your dad and Uncle Chucky? Like, hey,
and they heard, you know what they said?
What?
Oh, we knew.
Gotcha.
But again, I didn't know because all I was focused on this zone. Like, okay, I'm
It's
thinking about,
McLean right here. You
yes,
focus
like
on
I'm
beat
just
McLean.
focused on, yes. And then after that, let me go out there and get ready for football season.
I got you.
So I was just out there playing and having fun.
Yeah.
But what it did was, because again, y'all know people, Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
fine.
sure.
Huh?
Yeah.
Y'all from what? Y'all run You know, if you ask anybody that's not from Tulsa, y'all riding horses?
Yeah,
exactly.
facts.
And so you know what? I was like, hey, well, let me go out there and show y'all.
Gotcha. And so you played at Booker T.
Mm-hmm.
You had a teammate that went to a first round. I got a son now that's special. What was it like playing? And we knew him as Derek.
Yeah.
So Derek, his dad and my grandma was like best friends.
Right.
So that's how me and my brother used to go to the games with my grandma to watch Derek. And that's how we met Chad. And
Yep.
So what was it like playing? Because they used to call y'all the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
What was it like playing with Eton as the world know him as?
Well, I tell you what started first was, again, it was RW. Because RW was the first McDonald's All-American and played football. I said, you know what, to myself, guess what? If you can do it,
Yeah.
I can do it.
Uh-huh.
And again, so, you know, like Derek, Eton,
Yeah, Eton.
like it was special. Because, again, everybody whoever I played against wasn't going to be better than who I played against in practice. You know, we had, like, we were really, like, when we walked out there, we were bigger than a lot of college teams.
Yeah,
that's
you know, we had a guy named Robin Van, Brian Nichols, you know, Rocky Bright. Like, we were big.
Yeah.
Like, we were 6'8", 6'9", Marcus Hill 6'6", BJ Tiger. Like, we
High
were
shot,
a big team.
high
Yeah,
shot,
I said
6'4".
4. Yeah, we were a big team.
Gotcha.
We were a big team. Like, okay, everybody on our team could dunk.
Yeah.
Right. In high school. It's not
Everybody.
college.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's high
So
school.
you seen athletes, and again, even guys that weren't football players. You know, Terrell. We had people athletes,
Exactly.
and so it was good to be able to compete against each other. And we made each other better.
So I got I'm not an argument. It just hurt me because we argue with the Oklahoma City people. Like, tell us, how did y'all lose to John Marshall? Because they say they're the best team.
Again, they beat us that game, and that's what I'm gonna say. Like, again, if you look at it, they beat us that day. I'm not taking nothing from them.
Right.
They beat us that day.
Right.
But if it's a series, I think it's different.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's almost like in the NBA playoffs.
Right.
It's been quite a few teams that won game one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Can you do it for the long? They were better than us
That day.
In the tournament champions, right?
Tournament champ. They beat us.
Gotcha.
You know, Joe Axon, Joe was good. Reggie Tate, Tony Hurd.
Yeah.
They had big kid D'Angelo. They played at Tulsa. They beat us. I'm not taking nothing from them.
I got you.
But I and me personally, if it's serious, I'm going with us.
Yeah.
They beat us that day.
Gotcha.
And I tip my cap to them.
Okay, so we're going to fast forward just a little bit. You're one of the few guys from Oklahoma that played in the McDonald's All-American game.
Yeah.
How was that experience like? And who all was on your team? How was practices and all that stuff?
The McDonald's All-American game, when I was doing it, it was in Colorado Springs. So I think about the guys that was on my team, from Khalid Al-Amin to Chris, that was in the game, Chris Burgess. Tracy McGrady didn't play in it because he was getting ready for the draft. Lamar Odom, Eldon Brand, Baron Davis, Ron Artest, Eric Chenoweth. It was quite a few guys, and it was special because, again, that's what you work for, and you say, okay, let me go out there and compete at the highest level. I was also fortunate enough my senior year to play in the first or the second Hoop Summit game. The Nike Hoop Summit.
Nike,
yes.
okay.
So right now it's currently played out in Portland, but we was in Orlando.
Okay.
And so I was fortunate to play in that, and it was a great experience, man.
Did you get so now you know how they announce it on TV? Did they do that back then, or did you get a phone call like I made the game, or do you even remember?
I'll never forget the gentleman that runs the McDonald's right here in Pine and Peoria. Whoever the franchise on, he came up to Booker T, and he had a little jersey for me. And so, it was a special.
That's how you found out?
Yeah, I think they tipped off Coach Harris.
Oh, okay.
And then, it's not the production
I
that
got
it
you.
is nowadays.
Okay. All right. So on draft day, 2002.
Yep.
You had a little draft party over Aunt Jackie's house.
Now, actually, it was two of them.
Okay, yeah, two.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, rewind.
Okay.
I played at Notre Dame my senior year.
College.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. My senior.
Let's go to college. Let's go to college
Okay.
first.
Yeah, because I was going to lead up to. All right,
Let's go to college first. So,
And then,
so give us your top 10 schools that was recruiting you. Because you said after that Nike camp, you blew
well, I
up.
put it like this: the only people that didn't recruit me was Duke and Georgetown.
It's the only one.
That's the only two.
The only two.
And so, what
Everybody
made
from Kansas, Carolina, UCLA, Bobby Knight, everybody that's came, like you name it, they've been out to my home in Sperry, like to my mom and dad's house. That they were coming through from Bobby Knight to Roy Williams, Nolan Richardson, you name it, that they were coming through.
and what made you choose OU?
Man, I tell you, Kevin Sampson did a great job recruiting me. Another coach, Ray Lopes, and not only did they recruit me, they recruited my family. Like again, the state of Oklahoma. I also, was able to talk to Wayman Tisdale.
Shout out, Unc.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, it was a space. He said, "Hey, man, you can come here. I'm not telling you what somebody told me, but I'm telling you from what I experienced. Like, I think this is a good situation for it." And so when it came down to it, my final five was Oklahoma, because again, I didn't know if I was going to try to play football or basketball.
Right.
That's impossible. Like,
Yes,
it is. It sounds good on paper and everything, but it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Like either you're going to be really good at one and marginal at the other one, but it's just the time frame. Or I tell you what, it's easier to be a football player playing basketball
Than a basketball player playing football.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is basketball, it takes so much skill.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Like football, you can go out there and be successful because you're an athlete.
Yeah, just run and jump.
Exactly. I'm running, jump. I'm playing tight end, wide receiver, whatever position I'm playing. Just throw it up.
Yeah.
It don't take that much skill to run 10 yards and out and come and catch. Basketball, you got to be shooting. If you ain't shooting in the gym, you'll lose it.
Yeah.
Facts.
I got
And so I knew, with that being said, that's why I was kind of leaning towards. It depends on who you ask, which I was better in. My dad would still say, you know what, son, you should have played football.
What Uncle Chucky said.
It depends. It's a family debate. You can ask. It's going to be a group of contention to say, hey, guess what? Your career would have lasted a lot longer, and you would have probably did a lot better. But I'm like, I'm still a first-round draft pick.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, and so I ended up going to Oklahoma and playing for Kevin Sampson, and I don't regret none of it. It's been a blessing, man.
Yeah.
So how many years did you play at Oklahoma?
I played at Oklahoma 2 years, and then I transferred to Notre Dame.
Right.
Yep.
How did that process go with you transferring?
Yeah.
Well,
Because it's different now with the portal. Did you have to sit out or
I tell
anything?
people, back when I transferred, it was maybe five transfers that year. That was it. It was taboo.
Wow.
The two notable ones were myself and a guy named Luke Recker that played at Indiana and went to Iowa and Arizona. Like
Okay, I think
Guard.
guard.
Yep,
Yeah.
guard.
Yeah.
So we were the only ones.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break and come back to you in just a second. This episode is brought to you by the Smith Family Agency. It's simple. They make sure you have the right insurance coverage on your home, auto, or business. They also have the best prices for insurance in Oklahoma. Call my guy Brian Smith with questions, and he will give you a quick quote. We trust him to always do the right thing for you and your family. Call Smith Family Agency at 918-417-7400 and tell them the Bubby sent you. Back, McLean Barbershop, got Hump. We're going to finish talking about Notre Dame. So talk to us about your Notre Dame career. When you transferred from OU, you went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, I transferred to OU in 1999. I'll tell you what's so awesome is the coach that I transferred for left.
And who was that?
Matt Doherty.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I transferred Matt Doherty and Doug Wojcik that was at Tulsa, and a guy named David Kayson that was at Tulsa as well, that's been around. They recruited me to Notre Dame.
And where did he go?
So the year I set out, that was their first year there. And I knew Doherty from my Kansas connections because when he was at Kansas, he was assistant coach there. We had a really good year, and he gets offered the North Carolina job, his alma mater.
That's right. That's right.
So he had Michael Jordan calling him, James Worthy calling him, Brad Doherty calling him, all them Carolina people, and they put some pressure on him. Hey, man, you got to do this for the family. And at Notre Dame job, North Carolina job.
Yeah, exactly. Going home, too, yeah.
Exactly. So he called me in and it's like, hey, Ryan, man, I want to tell you this because, you know, I'm in our relationship. I know you. I was a big reason why you transferred to Notre Dame. But North Carolina called him. I said, Coach, man, you got to do what you got to do. Like at the end of the day, this is for your family, your career.
Right.
For sure.
He leaves, takes the North Carolina job. In comes Mike Bray. Didn't know Mike Bray from a can of paint 22 years ago. And our life, we have been connected ever since. You know, he allowed me, I tell people all the time, they say, hey, what's going to be your coaching philosophy? I said, I'm a mix of Kelvin Sampson and Mike Bray.
Gotcha.
I still give Kelvin Sampson his flowers. And when I see him on the road and we on the road and I'm sitting down and he needs a seat, I give my seat. I wouldn't be here today. And a lot of people are like, what? How was that? I give him a hug. I kiss him on the forehead, talk about the family. But Mike Bray gave me the freedom to play. You know, I had a teammate, Troy Murphy, NBA draft pick. Matt Curl. And so we were a good team. You know, we was able to win the Big East. And my senior year, I signed with my agent. I had, in that time, it was 28 NBA teams. I had 22 workouts.
Oh, okay.
Like I was like, where's Waldo? I was flying around. I was bouncing around. And I never forget it. It was the pre-draft camp, the combine. You know, we watched it on TV the other day, and so we were out there, and I went to block a shot, and I went to block a shot, and because in that type of setting, you can foul out. Like who cares if you get 7-8 fouls?
Right.
You know, who cares? But my mind said, let me make as many wild plays as I can. All right, the whistle's blown. Let me go dunk. All right, the whistle's blown. Let me go try to block a shot. Who cares if I got a goaltender? I'm just trying to show what I could do.
Exactly.
Right.
And I never forget, I went to block a shot, and I got clipped. And so what ended up happening, I got clipped on my foot, and I went to block it. My head comes down, and I hit the ground. Blood's all, and so you imagine, like what you did.
Wow.
You got all these NBA teams, the gyms went quiet. Whoa, everybody stops. In those days, it wasn't no concussion protocols. It wasn't none. It wasn't none. So they took me back. They stitched me up. And I was like, hey, man, y'all need to hurry up. Y'all messing with my money. I need to get back out there. I went back out there, and I played, and I went to interview teams. And I was like, what you going to give right now? Somebody's going to play hard. Somebody's going to, that's what you're going to get. A junkyard dog, somebody's going to play hard. And that propelled me, man. I was fortunate enough to get drafted in the NBA. I was drafted 19th overall by Utah Jazz and my rights, and I was traded on draft night to Orlando Magic.
Oh, so how was that? So you thinking you going to Utah?
I didn't know where I was going. Like I worked out with all these different teams.
Got you. And you was projected first round.
Early on, I was projected second round, but the way I played and with my workouts, and I was able to play. And so what happened? I didn't want no big draft party. It was 2 parties. I had one over my aunt's house and one with a small intermediate family. Because again, I'm not trying to be sitting there.
Exactly.
You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. I just went through it with my guy's age. Got drafted from Cleveland.
Yeah.
7th round. We here 4th, 5th, and then we in the 7th round.
Right.
We looking at each other like.
And it starts getting awkward. I don't want that.
It was.
I don't want that. And so, I wanted it with a group of people that have seen my growth and development.
Exactly.
Like I tell people all the time, and this is going to trip you out. God's blessed me playing in the NBA, and I'm a basketball coach. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I never had a basketball hoop in my house.
Wow.
I didn't have one. I didn't. And so my father was a dump truck driver, and you know what I did? It's different levels. Either kid is going to like basketball, or they're going to love it. Hold on, but it's another level. They're going to live it.
Yeah. Got you.
Some people use excuses all the time. So you know what I did? I didn't have a basketball hoop. I had a milk carton. And that's when I sit the milk carton against the wall, and my dad was working on his dump truck, and I'd just be out there shooting. Like we said earlier before, people talking about Kobe 3, 2, 1. I'm doing this Booker T. McClain game. Yeah. I'm okay. Let me go. I missed it. Foul. Huh? I'm like, for real. I'll tell you. And we laughing, but I'm making the Booker T's band music in my I'm making my moves, right? Because y'all know the sound, y'all know the band. Anybody that's been right here know the band. That's what I was doing. So I had a small party, and then I went over to my aunt's house, and then from there it kind of went off.
I do the band sound.
I'm not doing it one more time, man. Look, everybody got different skills and strengths, but y'all know what I'm talking about too. And I still, and when I did that, the hair on the back of my neck stood up.
That's a fact, though. You beat that.
Exactly.
Everybody was doing that.
Yes. And so even still, when I heard today,
You get goosebumps.
I get good. And I've been in a lot of gyms. I've been in a lot of arenas. But it's something special about it, man.
Yeah, facts.
Oh, man, you got to be in church.
Because that's facts, though. That's facts.
Oh, man.
So let's go back. So you said your draft party. So you got drafted 19 overall to Utah and got traded to Orlando.
Yep.
Your first year in the NBA, you got to play with Tracy McGrady.
Man, my first year, we were supposed to have the first big three.
And
It was Tracy McGrady.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Miller had just won the Rookie of the Year, and it was Grant Hill. We had tried, Orlando Magic tried to get Tim Duncan, but he didn't. So I had Tracy McGrady, I had Grant Hill, and I had the Rookie of the Year,
Mike Miller.
And every day I had to stick one of them. So I would leave practice like, man,
is this?
I was like, how am I gonna guard? Like, because each one of them's different.
Yeah.
Right? Each one of them's different, and man, Tracy had it's different levels. Mm-hmm. God-given talent, man. God-given talent, and he had a Hall of Fame career. But as you go up in different levels, it's the small things that separate you.
That's a fact.
He had more God-given talent than than Kobe Bryant. But Kobe had that laser. We always talk about this laser-like focus, and so it's the small things that separate.
Yeah.
The good players from, and he's a great player.
Exactly.
But then when you start, it's like a triangle. As you go up, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And so, I was able to guard him. I was traded to the Memphis Grizzlies. And on that team, it was Hubie Brown.
Your head coach.
So in Orlando, I was fortunate enough to have Doc Rivers as my head coach.
Okay.
That's coaching now. Then I had Hubie Brown. I had Hubie Brown, Lionel Hollins, and Mike Fratello. Anytime you see those guys, but those teams, I had Pau Gasol, Stromae Swift, Lorenzen Wright, White Chocolate. Jason Williams. I had Dante Jones. I had quite a few people on my team, man. Yeah. And Bo Outlaw.
How many years did you play for Memphis?
2.
2. Okay.
Yeah, and so, man, I learned a lot.
Give us Hubie Brown is an all-time great announcer's game. Give us a Hubie Brown story.
Man, Hubie Brown was, y'all don't know about this word, but an encyclopedia. Like, because nobody used it. Hubie Brown was the NBA Encyclopedia Britannica at those times, where whatever you needed in basketball related,
He had it.
he had it and had a story. And what he would do is every day he would start practice with a story. And I learned from him. I teach the why. He ain't saying, hey, run over to this X or run to this corner because I said so. Run over here to this corner, and this is how we're going to defend this. We do the why. We're doing this because when we see this. So he started, instead of just, again, a lot of coaches, a lot of people say, do this because I say do this. Parents, you know, we put this in the oven at 400. Like, anytime you turn the oven on, you're going to turn it to 400, 350.
350.
Do you know why? No. Huh? But that's what we do. And so, well, Hubie Brown taught the why. We do this because it's the optimal cooking temperature. So I was able to learn this is why we do certain stuff on the basketball court. And every day he would tell you, have a story. And so different guys we were playing against Phoenix Suns in the playoffs. And we're talking about different rotations. And you got to rotate early. And he's like, okay, if you don't rotate early, you know, that's when Amari Stoudemire was jumping over and dunking on everybody and Sean Marion. He was like, hey, you got to get there early. And he said, I'll tell you why. Back in the day, and then he started pontificating and he'd have a story. And he'd say, okay, and this is why we're doing this. Back in the day when I was coaching the Milwaukee Bucks, we played against, and you know his accent, we were playing against Philadelphia 76ers, and we had some white guys, and it was the brothers. Dr. J drove, and Dr. J jumped. The white guys jumped. The black guys jumped. The white guys came down. The brothers came down. Dr. J was still up in there. and so, you know, he would have a story every time. And you know, it was fortunate enough to learn from him, man. Because, you see him on TV, and it's almost he break the game down. Yeah. And that's what great ones do.
Right, for sure.
Y'all been to a barber, like he make it look easy. Only thing I do is just.
Yeah, exactly.
Like even a cook. Or a chef, what you put in it? Just a little dab. And you put it in, it's totally different. So that's what the great ones do. The special ones make it look easy. From cutting yard to being a mechanic, whatever they do, they make it look easy. And you leave and say, you know what? I can do that.
Yeah. I got you. So you leave, after that, that's when you went overseas, right?
Yeah. I bounced around a couple times trying to get deals. And then I was having my son being born. And I said, hey, whoever calls me next, that's where I'm going. So I played in Cyprus, I played in Spain, I played in Italy, these are the places where I've actually played. I played the whole South American circuit. I went all over playing basketball, man. And it's fortunate because at first it was an adjustment for me. You know, I'd been pampered playing in NBA, chartered flights, and when I played overseas, it was still high-level competition. Yeah. Like I played against guys that were getting ready to go to the league, and so what it did was it taught me that I had to adapt and change because it's a different game from playing in the United States than playing in Europe. Right. Like we remember some years ago when the USA team got beat by an Italian team in Indianapolis because it's a totally different game, different set of rules. Yeah, gotcha. And they work on their craft in Europe and other countries more than we do. You know, right? We want to be ISO Joe and we want to just pound the ball in place and not move. But the game has changed. Yeah, right, sure. And again, if you're doing something, we practicing once a day. Overseas, they're practicing twice a day. You do the math. Yeah, right. How many times you going to work out? How many times they going to work out? You do it in a month. Yeah. You working out 30 days. He's working out 60 days. Who you think's going to be better? Exactly. Who's going to be more skilled?
I got you. Okay. Well, let's get a little spicy a little bit.
I'll tell you, I'm not doing that.
Get a little spicy a little bit.
We know.
Give us your top 5 that ever come out of Tulsa. And it could be from now or whatever, because you've been around, you hear about people, you recruit. Give us your top 5 athletes of all time. It could be a basketball or football. Give us your top 5.
Top 5 out of Tulsa?
Tulsa, Oklahoma, 918.
You guys, in no order, because I don't want to be disrespectful. But it's been a lot of guys, man. It's been a lot of guys, but I tell you, I have to pay homage to the older guys. Okay. Because, again, if it wasn't the R.W. McQuarters or the Wayman Tisdales or the Lee Mayberries or the Richard Dumases or the Winesberries or the older guys, we wouldn't be here today.
Fact. That's a fact.
And so, you know, I want to give it to the Jonathan Browns. I want to give it to, you know, it's a whole bunch of people that's played. And again, I think with that, I can't give you 5, man.
You can't give you 5.
It's just too many. It's too
You gotta
many.
give us 5.
It's too many. Like
Okay,
again,
hold on.
It is
okay,
way,
that's cool. That's cool.
It is way
Can you
too
do
many.
this? Can you do this?
You
then,
give
huh?
us 5.
Man,
Hey, you're a coach, right?
yeah.
Give us your starting 5 to come out of Tulsa.
In basketball?
Give me a starting 5 that you would love to coach. It don't matter the era or whatever. Give me your 5. Let's go with your point guard. Who's running your point? Antonio Reed?
My 5 starters.
Give me your point.
Okay. Tell you, my 5 starters that I would coach.
Yeah.
My starting 5, my 5 would be Wayman.
Okay.
My 4 would be Eton.
Okay.
My 3 would be, no, I'm not saying, I'd say R.W. McQuarters would be on my team. As you see, I'm going to a Booker T tilt, and this is the team people that I played with.
Yeah.
You know, B.J. Tiger, Aaron Lockett. I'm going with my teammates. I'm going with my teammates, and I'm rolling with us.
You cannot do that.
How you gonna listen? How you gonna tell me?
5 right now beat you by 20.
You cannot do that.
You can't just come on.
You gotta give
I
it
got a
to
question.
us.
How you gonna say that?
You give it to us. Give it to
Because guess
us.
what?
What's up?
It's about chemistry, man. It's about chemistry.
It is.
It's
But
about
who would
chemistry.
you want to coach?
I just
though?
told you because guess I'm winning. I want to be Nate Harris 2.0. That's what I want, huh?
Yeah,
For real.
I got you.
I'm not.
I
I'm,
respect
again,
that. I respect that.
because it's been so many of them, man.
You're right. That's a fact. That's a fact.
And again,
That's a fact.
Those are the people that went to play D1. But there's a whole bunch of people. Y'all argue on this all the time. There are some brothers that didn't make it to
That's a
D1
fact.
that are just as good.
That's a fact.
That's fact.
That's
Huh?
a fact. That's a fact.
And choices, injuries.
Yeah.
You know, because again, I'll tell you what, man. I thank God that I didn't have social media and all this other stuff back when I was playing, because it just takes 1 second
That's a fact.
to get derailed. I didn't have all these distractions.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Like these young men right now, they got too many distractions.
Yeah.
I can sit on home and I can pick up my phone from TikTok to Instagram to whatever, Twitter, everything else. So with that being said, man, I'm glad I grew up because this is a different day and time, man.
Can you give us that one athlete though, like that you don't say RW because we know it's RW. Give us somebody else. That wasn't your teammate, maybe you watched
Or played against
or somebody that you was like, man, this dude is special. Man.
I tell you who I still tip my hat off to today.
Okay.
And again, there's been times where at different levels, and I've faced a lot of people. I've faced some of the best trash talkers, from Kevin Durant. I've got to guard Michael Jordan. I've practiced. I didn't play against. Kevin Garnett. I've practiced and had to guard the best of the best. The one guy that really took me out my game was Brandon Lloyd.
Brandon Lloyd at
Memorial.
for real?
They went to UCLA.
Took me smooth out my
Wow.
game.
Talking to you or what?
It was my sophomore year. Again, we played McLean. I was starting the trend. I was starting the bus. And you want me to tell you what he did?
What's that?
He told me how good I was.
I got you.
Because if you tell me how bad I am,
Yeah, I'm going at you.
oh, man, you nice. Man, you going to be the truth
He telling you this during the game.
during the game. Oh, man. So you know what's happening?
Yeah.
During the game? You know what's happening? My head, the best thing I've heard since I've been coach, publicity is like poison if you swallow. Once you start thinking how good you are, you lose your edge.
And you were swallowing it.
Oh, man, pause. I'm telling you, man.
Pause.
Like, for real.
Yeah.
I started believing. Anytime you think that you've arrived, you lose that edge and hunger.
Yeah.
Man, he told me how good I was and this. Man, at the end of the game, I had about 6 points. Like for real. 4 fouls. He was like, man. And I said, you know what? And again, in those days, I was fortunate enough to have a dad and older brother, and it's a movie. I'm about to tell y'all some inside secrets. It's a movie called Doc Holliday. You know, Wyatt Earp. Like, you got to have a certain mindset. And I learned, and we would watch certain stuff, and from there, I said, you know what? I'm going to embrace being public enemy number one, and I'm about to go out there and show. Every time I stepped until I retired, my mindset doing warm-up, everybody, I did a lot of self-talk. I'm going to be the baddest dude out here. I started thinking like I was like Michael Jackson, that people start paying their tickets and they hard-earned money. And if you don't get there early, you ain't going to get no seat. This was my mindset from when I was in high school to college and the pros. And it's sick, but you got to be arrogant and cocky to be a special player. Every time I stepped on the court, I said, you know what? This was somebody's opportunity. Somebody saved up. And this was somebody's first time to see Ryan Humphrey step on the court. And I wanted to go out there and entertain. I would laugh. I would talk. I would just, and it was fun. Yeah. And it was fun. But, Brandon Lloyd talked me out of my game. And I've played 13 years and 15 different countries. I've been all over, but I still remember that.
Wow, that's crazy.
Okay, so you as a coach.
Yep.
You've been on different AAU circuits recruiting. Can you give us 3 guys that's in the NBA right now that you was recruiting or you seen on the AAU circuit high school playing? Like, man, I knew that dude was going to be special.
Man, it's a lot of them. I've got to know Darius Garland.
I've seen him at a young age. We was in New Orleans.
Yeah, I got to see them, and I tell you what's cool is just seeing those young men go out there and progress. Obviously, Trey's really good. I've been fortunate enough, man. Like I say, you go out there and you see kids, you're like, man. I'll tell you what's crazy is, Jaren Jackson Jr. and you seeing different kids and say, man, how old are you? I need to see your birth certificate because you say you 15 or 16.
And you sit on the EYBL floor watching these guys.
Yes, like it's, Porter, like you seeing these guys, I'm like, they 6'7", 220, like these. I remember when I went to OU, I was 6'7", 205, soaking wet.
Yeah.
Coming in as a freshman. And you see these young men like Wendell Carter, Marvin Bagley, you see these freaks of nature, you like, now how old is this dude?
Yeah.
Like this, man, are you sure?
Exactly.
Like Jason Tatum, you seeing these men? Like you 24? Like, man.
I got you.
So, I've been fortunate, man.
Got you.
Okay. And with the transfer portal, and as we wrap this up, and we really, 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 really appreciate you coming. What is something that you watch when you are going to a game, as far as like recruits, something you could tell, like when you walking in the gym, you're focusing on? Is it the extra pass? Is it what athletic ability? What is it that Ryan Humphrey, Notre Dame, is looking for and to offer a scholarship to? What kind of kid?
One and first and foremost, fits are important. Fits are important. I'm not going to run an offense that the Tampa Bay's not going to run the same offense with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like certain fits are important. So for me, I don't recruit for Ryan Humphrey. I recruit to what Mike Bray, my head coach, want. And with that being said, at this point in time, I know what he wants.
Exactly.
I spend so much time with him. When we go out to eat, I can order for him because we spend so much time together. Right. And so I want somebody, because, I can shoot the same shot 4 different times and get different results. I want somebody that's going to be a good teammate. Competing is a skill now.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like competing and playing hard and playing the right way. Because at the end of the day, and it's somebody that I got to enjoy being around. Yeah. I feel good at night turning my phone on, do not disturb, and I don't have to worry about what type of kid or young man that I don't have. Not only that, I'm going to tell y'all something. Parents matter too.
Say that again.
Like, parents matter.
Yeah.
If you, and you know what? If he's not going to listen to his high school coach, why he going to listen to me?
Yeah, fine.
If he talk back to his mama
well,
and his daddy, what make me think that I'm going to be different?
Right. Have you ever stopped recruiting a kid because of his parents?
Oh, yeah. If his mama or daddy or somebody in his camp is yelling and being boisterous, I'm not going to be at Carolina and Duke and he's not playing well or we take him out, and I'm not doing it.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Gotcha.
So, you look at, because, again, the parents become part of your family too.
Right.
In basketball, we got 13 scholarships. There's going to be times where people ain't playing. How are you going to react when the bad times? Like, that shows you who people are.
Yeah.
Right. And before we wrap it up, give us your biggest influence.
Man,
God, it could be family.
Yeah, God and my family. Like, I promise you, man, I'm proud of y'all.
I appreciate it.
I still got my 918 number.
Right.
And I never forget, my journey and path. And like we were talking beforehand, there are some no's that are good.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
And what God, I tell you who's really, Leonard Hamilton, the head coach of Florida State, man, he said, man, I'm always picking people's brain. If you around 5 billionaires, if you hang around them long enough, you'll be the 6th.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Like, for real. Like, so be leery on who you keep. If you're around 5 idiots and you around them long enough, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be the 6th idiot.
You're right.
So with that being said, God, I pray, God, order my steps and let me learn from somebody. And again, with that mindset, I know, like, okay, some knows I wanted certain stuff. I wanted certain jobs. Sitting here today, at that point in time, I was devastated I got told no.
Yeah.
But now, where I'm at in my journey, I'm glad I got told no.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Huh?
Yeah.
I'm glad, because you know what? He was shielding me from something that I thought.
From 5 idiots. From
Right?
5 idiots.
Right? Exactly.
fine.
Like, he was shielding me.
Yeah.
Right.
Huh?
Amen.
Think about it. Like, y'all done seen some girls from high school that y'all tried to shoot your shot at.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
And she kind of did you like this. And you said, boy, I dodged the bullet right there.
Yeah, that's
Huh?
a fact. Yeah.
And that's the same thing in life and stuff, man. So, you know what? I'm humbled. I'm blessed. And I'm fortunate, man.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate it. And before we get out of here, say something to the youngsters. Give them some motivation because, like bro gave you your flowers earlier. High school All-American, McDonald's All-American, 2-sports star, first-round draft pick, coaching at a big-time university right now. And we 918 kids and whoever's watching, give the kids hope.
Not just only the kids, but guess what? I tell you what's really sad. We all have a spirit of comparison.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Like, for real. We looking at each other like, man, he got more leg space than I got. Huh? Like, you ever been on an airplane and you sit there and you sit next to somebody and you're like, wow, we in the same seat and the plane's built the same.
Yeah.
It look like he got more leg space.
Right.
We love to compare. We love to compare ourselves and our journeys and where we at to somebody else.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, because again, each one of us got different time zones.
Amen.
Look at Zion Williamson. Look at those guys that wasn't highly recruited early on.
John Morant.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of people.
That's a fact.
There's guys that's playing in it. Look at the Miami Heat.
White that played for the Celtics.
Yes. Huh? Like, for real. Like, you look at, he wasn't a McDonald's All-American. He wasn't. He went to multiple different schools. His time was his time.
Exactly.
And young people, those, whether it be you want to start a daycare center, become a barber, your time is your time.
Amen.
You focus on your craft and say, what can I do? Because you ain't competing against nobody else. You compete against yourself.
That's a fact.
What can I do to get better every day?
Fact.
Because I tell you this too, and I tell people this all the time. Whenever you sitting down, somebody working. Huh? I don't care what it is. If you're a barber, if you're an athlete, if you're a teacher, when you sitting down and not doing nothing, somebody else is working.
That's a fact.
We appreciate you, Hump. Up here at the McLean Barbershop, you got a little free time. You stop by. We really, really do. And this is one of me and my brother's mentors, family members. We call him my big cousin. Somebody who texts us if we say something we don't supposed to on social media. Sometimes give us a heads up. Who supports us fully. He loves what we're doing, and we love what you're doing. Keep it up. Appreciate it. It's episode 7. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man. Appreciate it.